This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Well, hi there. Glad to have you along for the next 30 minutes. If you are a regular to the show, then you know how this works. I will start. I am Ray.
And I am Kenny, and this here is what's on today's program. With consumer beef prices at near record levels, one would assume beef producers are seeing more green in their wallets. Wrong. While the president of the Georgia Cattlemen'S Association says profits are now lower than before. Here in Georgia, the turf grass industry is booming, to say the least. But will the supply keep up with demand? It's a concerning issue one specialist called, quote, alarming.
Stressful, no doubt, but we have just the cure. Some comfort food. You like pie? Peach pie? Peach salsa, maybe? How about peach-infused Brussels sprouts?
What?
Yeah, I know. Sounds like an odd combo, but don't knock it till you try it. Meals from the field and more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
While consumers are paying record high prices for beef at the grocery store, that is not translated to bigger profits for Georgia cattlemen. Damon Jones recently traveled to Pike County to speak with the GCA president, Rodney Hilly, about that and some of the major issues facing the industry.
There's a common misconception around the country that since the price of beef has risen nearly 30% at the grocery store over the past couple of years, that cattlemen are making record high profits. However, that couldn't be further from the truth, as several external factors have really cut into their bottom line.
I would say the profits overall are probably less than what it was before. Yes, the cattle market prices are up somewhat, but when you consider what it costs to raise them to that point, it just doesn't pencil out. Our input costs, feed, fertilizer, fuel, that kind of thing, are extremely high. That's really hammering a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Drought conditions around the country have been another obstacle for them to overcome, as hot, dry conditions have not only resulted in higher prices for hay and feed, but also a shortage.
Well, it just causes you to have to feed hay or feed or whatever, and I mean, obviously the cost of those have gone up so much, if you can find hay. This time of the year is hard to even locate supplies now, because I mean, as fast as anybody's baling hay, they're selling it.
And with no real end in sight to the rising prices, setting a budget is near impossible with all the uncertainty.
I'm not sure how you're going to make a budget now and stick to it. That's the biggest problem, because the price of a lot of things is still going up. Fuel's still going up. Fertilizer may have hit a peak a little bit for the time being anyway, but you don't know what it's going to do down the road. And this fall it may go up again. And so the cost of seed, I mean, all that's a factor, and it's just hard to budget when you don't know what the prices will be.
Those record prices have also trickled down to the feeder market, where those operations are forced to pinch pennies as well.
Even when these calves go to a feedlot, the cost of gain is costing them so much. I mean, you know, they're not going to pay any more than they have to, because their profit margin is very slim. So it's kind of a killer on both ends.
That's why organizations like the Georgia Cattlemen'S Association are so important at a time like this, as they help pass through legislation that will benefit the industry now and into the future. And it's why every single cattleman in the state is encouraged to become a member.
Well, we need all the help we can get. I mean, that's obvious. There are still too many cattlemen out there in the state of Georgia that aren't members of Georgia Cattlemen, but they receive the same benefits as a member does. But the problem is they don't understand the work that goes on behind the scenes to create these situations. That's what we need help from other members for, is not only their membership, but also their contacts with the legislature and that type of thing.
Reporting from Pike County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Thank you, Damon. Meantime, with a contribution of nearly $15 billion annually to the state's economy, the turfgrass industry here in Georgia is one of the biggest in the country. To break it down even further, that's more than 1.8 million acres dedicated to lawns, golf courses, and other landscapes. But in the past 2 years, demand has exploded, hence bringing down those inventory levels at an alarming rates. One business that has witnessed it firsthand, NG Turf in Fort Valley. John Holcomb explains.
It's a problem most would assume is a good one to have. Demand so high that you're running out of product. However, that's everything but the case for turfgrass producers here in Georgia, like NG Turf, who have been working nonstop growing and cutting sod for the landscaping industry that's experiencing demand they haven't seen in decades.
The last couple of years have been surprising. When, go back to when COVID first started hearing things, we had some concerns, and I think everybody realizes now a lot of people stayed at home, a lot of people started doing projects at home, and that really helped the sod industry. We were able to continue through that process, and it's really been 2 consistent years of year-round demand for turf. The last 2 winters have been extremely busy, which I think has put a sort of a crunch on the spring inventory levels when everything sort of picks up. So the last 2 years have really been unique. We are seeing that again this year with consistent demand and really low inventories across the industry.
That's certainly the case according to the University of Georgia's annual survey report, which not only confirms low inventory levels amongst Georgia producers, but also shows an increase in price.
We saw about a 20% increase in prices, which with the way the demand has been since the onset of COVID really wasn't too much of a surprise. But the big jump this year was, well, what we really saw, what I thought was rather alarming, was the reduction in inventory. We just coming into the first 5-6 months of the year, Bermuda grass inventory was going to be lower than I've seen in 20 years, and the zoysia grass inventory was quite alarming. So that was kind of concerning, is that we were low levels, and then knowing that we weren't recovering anything early on in the season. It'd be somewhere June, July, or August before we really start seeing some of those fields come into production again.
Walt says the reason this has become such an issue is due to the turfgrass industry operating year-round, as sod can be laid any day of the year, but can only be grown during certain months.
They're harvesting out here every month of the year and shipping it off to golf courses, sports fields, home lawns, what have you. So you've got to have something other available all the time, and that's where it's a little bit different in our commodity versus some of the others. So if you just had a season and it was all harvested in July and August, folks are still laying lawns, are still establishing sports fields in November, December, January, February as well.
And in terms of price, according to Howard, that can be attributed to the exponential increase in inputs to grow, maintain, and ship their sod.
We think somewhere around 30% of our cost in the product is in the freight and getting it to market. Some of the other challenges are fertilizer. We've seen our fertilizer input prices double over the last 12 to 18 months, and that's pretty consistent with our pesticides and other inputs we have as well.
Unfortunately, Howard believes this trend will continue due to projected demand, only furthering the issues going forward. Reporting in Fort Valley for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
When we come back, apron, check. Skillet, check. Wooden spoon, check. Brussels sprouts. All right, hold on before you turn the channel. Let's throw in some bacon as well as some fresh Georgia peaches. Yes, peaches and Brussels sprouts. Trust me, the combination is better than you think. Meals from the Field when the Farm Monitor continues.
Georgia is known as the Peach State. But did you know that fresh, sweet Georgia peaches are only available for 16 weeks out of the whole year? Let's find out how Georgia peaches sweeten up summertime for everyone. Every peach tree starts from a peach pit, which is like a seed, but farmers don't actually plant peach pits. They buy young trees from nurseries and plant them in the spring or fall when the soil is easy to work with. Peach trees like to grow in warm weather. During cold weather months, they go dormant. This means that they aren't actively growing, and that's when the farmer must prune the trees. He carefully cuts away overgrown or dead branches so the tree can grow better fruit. It can take up to 4 years for a peach tree to produce large, sweet fruit, but the wait is definitely worth it. In March, blossoms appear on the trees. The bees are busy with other flowers. But did you know that most peach trees don't need pollinizers like bees to make fruit? They are known as self-pollinators or self-fruitful. It takes about 3 months for the peach to grow and become ripe. It turns from green to yellow to gold in color. When they are ready for harvest, a team of workers go into the orchard and pick every peach by hand. They place them into bins and bring the bins to a packing house. Here, the peaches are washed, sorted, and sent to the grocery store or produce stand near you. Georgia peaches reach their peak of flavor in August, which is National Peach Month. Ripe peaches are sweet and juicy and should be handled with care. Look for creamy gold or yellow color beneath that irresistible fuzz to find the perfect peach. Don't forget, that red or blush color you see is actually an indication of the peach variety, not ripeness. Georgia produces 2.6 million bushels of peaches every year. That's enough to fill 16 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And most Georgia peaches are eaten fresh. They're fat-free, cholesterol-free, high in fiber, and contain just 40 calories. With vitamins A and C, they just might be the perfect snack.
All right, in full disclosure, for all the kids out there watching this, we are doing Brussels sprouts today. So if you need to run out of the room right now, go ahead and run out of the room. I know a lot of kids don't like Brussels sprouts, but you know what? This recipe you are going to like, and it's just one of the recipes that we have today on another edition of Meals from the Field, featuring the one, the only, oh my gosh, drum roll please, Marcia Crowley. Hey. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Ray.
But yes, Brussels sprouts, just one of the things we're doing. Good, healthy vegetables, and when they're cooked properly, they are absolutely delicious.
There is an acquired taste for Brussels sprouts.
There are, yeah, there is. And of course, we've got some other good stuff, but do you want to start with the Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, we're going to start with that.
Let's do that.
This is a pound of Brussels sprouts that I've trimmed and quartered, and I've already sauteed it with a Vidalia onion and a tablespoon of bacon grease.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to pretend like that's steaming, but it's already cooked. So we're going to add to that 6 slices of bacon. You know kids are going to love that.
How can you go wrong with bacon?
How can you go wrong with that? You're going to add to it 2 Georgia peaches that have been chopped. That's why I really like this recipe. It's so good. A little salt and pepper to your taste. Stir all that in. You're going to add a teaspoon of lemon juice and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Oh.
And you're just going to stir that till the peaches and the maple syrup kind of blend in with the cooked Brussels sprouts, and it's so good. And I love this recipe. It's really, really good.
And again, how can you go wrong with maple syrup and bacon?
That's right, and peaches.
And
You know,
peaches.
so it's not really about the Brussels sprouts. That's a sidebar.
Well, honestly, the Brussels sprouts may be overpowered by all the other stuff, so that's good, kind of, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
The next thing we're going to do is a peach and avocado salsa. And I know we've done other salsas, but never one with an avocado in it. So let's get started on that. Let's start with the peaches. This is 2 peaches, chopped, Georgia peaches, of course. A half of a red onion. Don't ask me why I have this extra spoon in my hand, because I have no idea.
In case you lose the other one.
In case I lose the other one. In case I can't find it. A half of a red bell pepper, chopped. This is 1/4 cup of fresh chopped cilantro. And don't use the canned stuff for this. The jarred stuff you get in the spice section, it makes a big difference. This is a half of a jalapeno pepper chopped, but you could do more or less. And 3 cloves of garlic chopped. Stir all that up, and you're going to add to that 2 teaspoons of fresh, juice from a lime and a juice from a lemon.
Okay.
And let this refrigerate for a little bit, and then when you get ready to serve it, you're going to stir in 1 avocado that's been chopped. And this is This is so good. It's really good on chicken. We're serving it with pork today. It's
Okay.
good on, really good with chips.
I was going to say, I got to admit, I've never had salsa with avocado, so I'm looking forward to trying
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And here again, peaches are in season in Georgia. And I think they're having a good crop this year.
They're
Have I
having a
heard
very
that?
good crop, yes.
Yeah, because the way the weather worked out.
Always a concern every year, but somehow, you know, these peach producers and peach farmers, they always pull it out, so it's good.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. All right, this
Why
pie.
not finish with peaches?
Pardon me?
How about we finish with
Let's
peaches?
finish with peaches. What a great idea.
Great idea.
This is an 8-ounce package of light cream cheese. I'm not sure if it'd make any difference if you use regular, except you're cutting out a couple calories. What
Just a
the
small
heck?
amount.
Yeah, and I've already beat in or mixed in a half a cup of sugar and some vanilla. And this is an 8-ounce container of whipped topping.
Okay.
Like I said, this is super easy. You could use homemade whipped cream if you wanted to. Just adds another step, but
Or you could cut out even more calories by going with the light whipped cream, right?
sure you could. You could cut them out altogether and not make it if you're that worried about it. All right, just kind of fold that in. Then you're going to fold in 3 Georgia peaches that have been chopped, which I've got right here.
Hey, you found a spoon.
I found it. Yeah, I wonder where. I've got more over here if you need one. It's a nightmare to get up here and try to stir something and you can't find a
I can
spoon
imagine.
or a bowl or a. And all you're going to do with this is make sure they're whipped in there really good. You're going to pour it in a graham cracker crust,
Which is store-bought.
which is store-bought. You can make your own. And you're going to freeze it until you're ready to serve it.
All right.
And that's it.
And that's it. See
That's
how
it.
easy and quick
I mean,
all that
easy.
is? And again, there you see the finished product of all this delicious stuff. And of course, as we always say, you too can do this at home just by logging on to farm-monitor.com, looking up the recipes there that we have done for, what, 30 years now?
Seems like it, doesn't it? Some days.
It actually is approaching 10 years.
It
believe
is.
not.
I cannot believe
Yeah,
that.
so there's a great recipes on there. Farm-monitor.com. Go up to the top, recipe section. Everything there for you listed out. Very simple to follow. I can't thank Marcia enough. She sends
Thank
the
you,
stuff
Ray.
in, and people really appreciate it. So, Marcia, thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Good to see you again. And of course, we will see you next month. Enjoy.
Well, don't forget, if you missed any part of this episode of Meals from the Field or other features on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor. Plenty of content and variety and subjects to choose from. Best of all, archives go all the way back to 2009. And while you're there, keep clicking and like the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Also, if you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or the address that is on your screen. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Up next, the incredible program that's helping to restore the many benefits trees provide to storm-struck Georgia communities.
Hey everybody, Seth Hawkins, Community Forester of the Georgia Forestry Commission here. Today I'm here to introduce the relief program from the Georgia Forestry Commission and the Georgia Tree Council. So after major storm events such as Hurricane Michael or other smaller storms such as tornadoes that come throughout the state, there's a lot of trees that have been lost to those storms in the last few years. The majority of a city's tree canopy is actually held on residential private property, so it's really important for us to make sure that those trees in back and front yards are getting replanted following these storm events. The Relief Program provides opportunities for your community to get grant funding to either plant trees in public spaces or provide free trees to residents to start to restore that residential tree canopy. So today we're just going to go over some of the species you can expect to see at these tree giveaway events if your community participates in Relief. Swamp white oak is a great native shade tree, well adapted for urban compacted soils. It features dark green deciduous leaves in the summer with great vibrant yellow fall color. It can get well over 60 feet tall, so adequate overhead and underground soil space is a must. Make sure to plant this species in the full sun where you need to restore lost canopy. Shumard oak is another great native shade tree known for its urban tolerance and great performance. It's very drought tolerant and fast growing relative for an oak. It has great red-orange color in the fall. It can also get over 60 feet tall, so again, adequate overhead and underground space is a must. Also plant this tree in the full sun to restore lost canopy. Black gum's another awesome native species well adapted for urban soils that might have poor drainage issues. It has dark green summer leaves with great fall color. You can have red, orange, purple, and yellow on the same tree or even on a single branch. This tree can reach over 50 feet tall, so make sure you have adequate overhead space and plenty of soil area. Make sure to plant this species in a spot where it will get at least 6 hours of sun per day. Little Gem Magnolia provides all the charm of southern magnolia with a smaller size. It grows in an upright form and can reach about 25 to 35 feet tall. It has beautiful showy flowers from mid-spring through the summer. Make sure to have adequate soil area for this tree and make sure to plant it in a spot where it gets at least 6 hours of sun per day. Chinese pistache is a wonderful landscape tree, well adapted to urban soils and urban stresses. It has a rounded, spreading form with dark green leaves in the summer and great shades of red and orange in the fall. Chinese pistache needs at least 400 square foot of soil area, and make sure to plant it in a place that receives at least 6 hours of sun per day. Frontier elm is a great medium-sized landscape tree with resistance to Dutch elm disease and elm leaf beetle. This species can reach 30 to 40 feet tall with an upright vase shape, featuring purple-red leaves in the fall. Frontier elms need at least 400 square feet of open soil area, and make sure to plant this species in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of sun per day. The Florida maple is a landscape standout, reaching 25 to 55 feet tall depending on the site, with great orange and red fall color. Florida maple needs at least 400 square feet of soil area to thrive and plenty of overhead space to spread. Plant this species in a spot that receives at least 4 to 6 hours of sun per day, but can also do well in full sun with adequate watering. Carolina sapphire cypress is an awesome evergreen landscape tree. It grows in a pyramidal shape 35 to 45 feet tall with a spread of up to 25 feet, featuring blue-silver needles. Plant Carolina sapphire in a space with at least 400 square feet of soil area, and make sure to plant it in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of full sun per day. The Natchez variety crepe myrtle is a stunning tree renowned for its showy flowers, beautiful bark, fast growth, and tolerance of urban soil conditions. It grows in a vase shape up to 25 feet tall. It can handle limited soil area better than most species, but still should be planted in a spot with at least 200 square feet of soil. And make sure to plant it in a spot that gets at least 8 hours of sun per day. Forest pansy redbud is a deciduous tree valued for its brilliant scarlet-purple color to new foliage maturing to a deep maroon in the fall. It grows in a rounded vase shape and has bright pink flowers in the early spring and begins flowering at a relatively young age. It can grow 20 to 30 feet tall with a 25 to 35 foot spread. Also make sure it has at least 200 square feet of open soil area and plant in a space that receives at least 4 hours of sun per day, but no more than 6 hours per day. So now that you have a better idea of the species you can expect to see at the Relief Tree giveaway events, and have a better idea of which species would be the best fit for your front or backyard, encourage your community to participate in the Relief program so that you and your neighbors can get your free trees to start doing your part to restore that lost tree canopy.
Seth, thanks so much. Before we go, a reminder that for all the latest ag news regarding food, recipes, and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure you check out all of our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay cool and have a great week.